I literally started advocating and testifying. I remember I even actually spoke up here in Massachusetts. I'm thinking back in 2009, 10.
Yeah.
I've been involved in the cannabis movement since 2000.
Yeah, I know.
And what's been crazy about it is that watching over, if you had told me back in 2000 that we'd be sitting here in 2023 with an industry in such disarray, I would have popped you upside the head and said, you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think that the industry is in disarray, but I also think it's kind of just the way it had to happen. It's a new business. You can't copy one state to the other. So Massachusetts has a different law, different demographics than the states that preceded us. So everything had to be started from scratch. And, if you look at the states that preceded us, they're going through kind of similar disarray to what's going on here in terms of falling prices and so forth.
I'm not disagreeing with you in any way, but I'm just trying to say that had we approached this differently from day one, we would not have to be here. This could have been a different journey for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But we've got an industry that literally, in some ways, has forced these, 37 different municipalities, different legislative rules about cannabis, because we're at 37 states. And
the fact that you're doing something that is legal in a state but illegal federally means that every state is unique. Absolutely. Right. And as I said, when we first started, we went to people in Colorado and Oregon and Washington State and said, help us, what'd you do right? What did you think you could have done differently or better? Sure. And we learned a lot, but you still can't lift and shift. It's every state is unique. And, there's no roadmap.
Right.
It's pretty much, and I'm proud of what we did. I won't say it was perfect,
right,
but I'm proud of what we did. I think we got a lot of it right, but there's a lot more work to be done. And there's stuff that isn't working as well as it should that needs to be fixed.
Well, who rolled up on you and said, hey, would you like to step in to be the commissioner?
So the way the law was written is that the state treasurer, Deborah Goldberg, was responsible for appointing the chairman. The treasurer and the governor also, or the attorney general and the governor had other appointments, but the chair was appointed by the treasurer. And she turned to some of her, colleagues and said, help me find somebody. She turned, among others, to Stan Rosenberg, who used to be the president of the Massachusetts Senate. And he, in turn, ended up talking to a friend of mine. My friend said, I know the perfect guy, but he'll never do it. And so, I went home that night, and my wife got home from work, and I said, babe, you'll never guess what happened, what I heard about today, but I'm not doing it. And she said, and I quote, she said, are you crazy? This is the adventure of a lifetime. How could you not do it?
Sure.
And my wife, as always, was right. And it was the adventure of a lifetime. But, she talked me into it. But it just came kind of haphazardly, as I said, through, a network of, contacts.
Sure. And you've literally stepped into the lion's den having to actually formulate a lot of regulations and rules that Massachusetts has gone under.
Yes.
Ups, downs.